I personally feel like I don't know a lot of men that do therapy. So when men are saying that they're healing, I would like to first ask men, like, what is their definition of healing? Because a lot of times when I'm in spaces with men to have conversations like this, it gives like I'm just hitting the blunt and I'm just talking to my homeboys, and that's my therapy. Because it still seems to be like a very taboo thing to need a therapist or to need an antidepressant or any of that kind of stuff in 2025. That still seems to be like big taboo. Um, Most men are just saying that like they deal with whatever they're dealing with like internally, and they just wake up and try and forget about it the next day. So I don't think that a lot of them are doing the work in terms of like how we as women are, like how Jasmine just said, like she literally paid for a therapist. She went to go see somebody that was licensed in a specialty pertaining to whatever she felt like her issues were. So when men are saying like, "Oh, I don't think women are ready for the healed version of us." No, it kind of sounds like maybe like they it you aren't healed. You just found other men that agreed with some of your toxic thoughts, and then you came on the internet and you thought that you had it all figured out, because that's what it turns into. A lot of the spaces that men are using is social media, and they get together and they vent to women, and that's where I'm personally not agreeing with that healed man concept, especially because I'll look at it like when a woman doesn't agree, you don't know this woman from a can of paint, and now all of a sudden she's the problem. She's the reason that you got a divorce. She's what's wrong with the world. You don't know her though. You don't know her. You just came onto social media to like feel better about the situation. So it kind of sounds a little strange.
For clarification, the definition I use for healed would be uh, I find my fault in scenarios where I could have took responsibility for what I did to create the scenario or what I should have done sooner to prevent the scenario, and being able to take time to collect myself to have a conversation with no intent to be malicious or harmful. That's my definition of that.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that. Like that it sounds like, there's some type of growth that would come from that versus like I said, from what I'm seeing at least is most people are just going on social media, or like they're trauma bonding with somebody that has the same insight as them. So you get stuck in this echo chamber and you're using that as your therapy to affirm your negativity or your toxicity. I don't really, and I'm not just saying that to be petty. Like I really don't hear a lot of black men saying like I have a therapist. I don't hear a lot of black men saying that they're like going to see anybody. They're sitting around with their friends or like going on social media.
If you had to guess, who you think on this panel has been through therapy before?
You.
Um, I would think that Real Dope and you have been to therapy. Like, and that's wait, I hate how you laugh because I'm not saying it like that. I also want to clarify. That's not me saying that you guys were fucked up and you needed it. It's me saying that I could see y'all having a level of like, I know that something bothers me, and you would like reach out to somebody that's actually specialized in like if you have anxiety or whatever, because I kind of feel like y'all are a little bit more progressive on y'all's views, where like those type of things wouldn't bother y'all or make y'all feel less than or any of that, versus like I see Darwin and Trev as somebody that is more old school. So I wouldn't think that they would be the type to maybe like reach out and want to talk to somebody. What was funny? I
Somebody
wasn't saying nothing
said,
crazy. Not saying nothing bad. Oh my god.
I'm crying tears, man.
I'm just saying. That's what I get when I talk to y'all, because Darwin has a very rigid, in the box kind of view, and I always notice that M White leans towards trying to understand what everybody is saying. And so does Real Dope. Like Real Dope will say something, and if one of the ladies disagree, then he digs further into it to try and understand it for real, and be like, okay, well, this is where my point of view is coming from, and I can see why you may think what you think, but here's what I'm trying to convey. You know what I'm saying? That's how y'all talk.
I'm just big on philosophy. I'm a philosophy guy, so
Okay.
Did you go to?
Well, let me speak to the video, and then I'll speak to the therapist thing. I'll speak to the therapist thing first. So here's the thing. Most people don't realize this. 70 to 76% of all therapists are women. So when men finally build the courage to seek help, there's a high chance they'll end up sitting across from someone who doesn't process emotions the way they do, or doesn't think the way men do. And worse, it's a chance that they don't speak the language of masculinity. So one thing you got to understand, men want clarity. We want actionable steps. We want a plan. And that's not what's happening in therapy these days. If we're lucky, we'll find rarely we'll find a therapist who still teaches discipline, accountability, and masculine structure. And when that happens, those men come back the second or third time because it actually works. I invite y'all to go and look at the research on that. But I found it interesting in this video that nobody really caught this. Women today, it's true what those guys were saying in that video. Women today are pushing men away, they're rejecting them, telling them to go get healed so they can be a better man. But the side no one ever want to talk about is when men actually go and get healed, they start to see themselves clearly. And that clarity leads to real transformation. They improve their appearance. They elevate their mindset. They get fit. They go to the gym. They fix their finances. They become more marketable. And once that happens, they don't just come back better. They come back more desirable in the market. So they become a part of the top tier of men women compete for. And here's the irony. Once they reach that level, they don't have to settle. They now have options. And in today's dating market, where women give away the milk for free, those healed men often realize, why pick one when I can have it for free, when I can have it all? So the most dangerous thing happening in society where women compete for the top is that men are leveling up, and they're leveling into that top and rejecting monogamy altogether. So behavior, you keep pushing and rejecting these men, and when they go level up, they're leveling up in that top tier, and they're saying, fuck it, I'm gonna just be polygamous because I don't have no damn reason to get out of the game. That's what's happening, because women are dating horizontally and up, and men are dating horizontally and down. And these guys at the top, the bottom 90% is completely shut out of the market, and the man at the top is pretty much polygamous.
Polygyny is getting out the market, though, but I get your point.
Motherfucking mic drop.
No one on the corner has swagger like